Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Marine X back at it again. Best gear of the year. This is tier 2. I talked about tier 1, which is stuff that primarily is on my body every single day. Basically, no matter what I'm carrying, if I'm in joggers or pants or whatever, this is my tier 2 stuff. This is the stuff that does not get carried every day, does not get worn every day, does not get used every day. But at least once a week for the most part, this stuff is actively in my life. So this is the best gear of the year when it comes to EDC survival, maybe a splash of tech or whatever I see fit. So sit down, grab your thought juice or whatever you need and just chill out. And anything that I have linked down below, some may be affiliate, some may not be, but just check them out nonetheless. Let's talk about some stuff that I wear quite often. So first we'll start off with my boots. Now, I think that boots are incredibly important, and I tend to wear boots almost every day of the year. I guess out of 365 days, I'm probably in boots 340 or something like that. So I do have some new boots that I picked up this year. I got the Thursday Captain boots. And for the longest time, I wanted to check out the Red Wings. I need to brush these. They haven't been brushed in probably, it's been a couple of weeks now, man. I probably have about 20 miles on them as it stands right now. So mine have worn in. So it was really highly between the Thursday Captain and the Presidents. And I wanted to get the toe cap or whatever they call this on the front of these. But they're very comfortable, very durable. I got mine. The only advice I would give you if you get the Thursday Captain is to size it down by half a size. So I wear a size 11 in sneakers normally. So these are a 10 and a half, and I have a wide foot. So these are 10 and a half wide, and they fit great. So for about the first week and a half, I had blisters on my feet, which was an indicator I had a lot of breaking in to do. And I will put these on for any reason I could think of. Going to check the mail, going out on a ruck where I would normally wear my Columbia walking shoes, I would wear these instead. Going to the mall, going to wherever, I would throw these on, and in a very short span of time, I was able to break these in. I love these boots. I could highly recommend these. And the thing about Thursday is that they never have sales. They don't offer discounts. They just make a high quality boot in Mexico, and it is what it is. And so these are $200. Now, moving past the boots themselves, let's talk about some of probably the most worn items that I wore throughout the year. Vertex. Now we're going to talk about the Vertex LT stretch. I think these are the Delta LT or the LT stretch. I'll link them up down below if I'm getting these wrong, but I'm a big fan of these a lot. Overall, they've been pretty worn well. I have like 4 pairs of these. I'm wearing a pair right now. I have these pairs. What I like about them is that they have the vertical slash pocket right here, which is a magazine pouch pocket, but you can also put wallets or whatever that you want to in there. I usually keep my cell phone in this pocket. Right below it is the wallet, is a back pocket, but it has a wallet flap to keep your wallet from flopping out if you're on a amusement park ride, or if someone's trying to pickpocket you or whatever, less likely it happens. It also has this small utility pocket right here, which is great for putting like your multi-tool or your knife or your flashlight inside, and it's lined in leather, so it's less likely that tool's clip will accidentally fray your trousers. It has a zipper here, which you can use for a hidden stash pocket or just something you're not going to use very often that day. Maybe your house keys can go in there, leaving the main pocket itself for you completely available for use. And then I like the fact that the actual pocket itself comes down and does like this J hook movement here where I normally keep my knife, leaving it completely out of the way for me to put my hand inside the pocket. A lot more features in these trousers that I like, but these are a little bit heavier when it comes to rucking. I like them, but I tended not to wear those very often whenever I went rucking, and hence where Vertex just recently came out with their Trail Slacker trousers, I think is what they call these. These are fantastic. Okay, these have like a 4-way stretch to them, which is way better than the LT stretch. They're lighter. They have more give in them. I think they have more spandex in the actual trousers themselves, which makes them a little bit more comfortable. Still look really good though. So some still pretty good looking trousers. So it still carries some of the features over from the trousers we just saw. Like you see this little magazine pocket here is there. Here it still has a back pocket with the wallet flap, so your wallet can't come flopping out of there. And you do lose that side vertical pocket with the leather, but they replaced that with some cargo pockets, YKK zippers, which is great to keep your cell phone in, or a compass in, or a flashlight in when you're walking on a trail. They have like a four-way stretch material. The groin has a lot more stretch in them. So if you're walking up a trail, up a rock or whatever, it doesn't seem to really get in your way. You do lose that J hook movement of the pocket itself. So if that's something that's important to you, then you may want to take a look at the LT stretch. And you get a small mini stash pocket right here instead of the zipper pocket. So you can put like maybe your most used ID or business cards or whatever. But Vertex definitely had me strong when it came to the trouser selection. They kind of fed me a little bit, right? They sent me a pair of each, and then I ended up buying some pairs whenever they had different sales on their website. Check the links in the description down below, because a lot of times, you know, if there's any deals going on, then you can check those out with those links. But whenever they had their Black Friday sales, or if they had their Labor Day sales or whatever, I always try to pick myself up more whenever I had the opportunity. Now, my most used every single, at least work day, I won't say every calendar day of the year, but the Lockbee field size journal is what I use the most. Right now I have the Marine X Chronicle journal in here, which you can kind of disregard my journal I sell on my website, a shameless self-promotion. But the point is that this holder is what I use the most. This thing here is made of a wax canvas. I like the fact that it does have a built-in bookmark if you want to use it that way. It uses common A5 size journals. And it does have area here if you want to put business cards, or if you want to put maybe a tracker card in here or something like that. And it has a keeper for your pen. So I like this because this thing kept me squared away throughout the entire year. And I use this. Now, it's almost an everyday carry item. It's definitely every work day. I would sit down, make coffee, bust this thing open, and it's less than, I think it's less than, well, I know it's definitely less than $100, but it comes with a A5 paper. Next, let's go over and look at the Anchor. This is the Anchor power bank. This is their 60,000 milliamp hour power bank. This is the power bank that existed before the DC line of power banks, which are popular on YouTube right now. The DC 300, the DC 200, the DC 300 AC, all those, okay? This is the Anchor power bank, the 60,000. Now, this one is still viable, and I use this one more than the items that I reviewed because they don't have all the bells and whistles in it, and it seems to work really, really well. It doesn't work with their app. It doesn't have a 12-volt cigarette DC port on it. It doesn't have any of that stuff. And I think because of that, it just kind of gets out of my way. It still has the lantern feature on the top, which I can use. It also has an SOS mode for the lantern feature. It still has 2 USB-C ports. Well, I think the new ones have 4 USB-C ports. It has 2 USB-A ports. Still does solar inputs. It charges significantly slower than the new DC 300. It doesn't do dual charging like the DC 300. It doesn't work with the app like the DC 300. But you know what it does well? It just works. Okay. The DC 300, I did a review on it and it just shit the bed on me. The first one that I had, the second one was nice, but it was just so many. It was kind of overwhelming. This one can be had for half the price sometimes when it's on sale. So like this one is a 60,000 milliamp hour capacity, and I would take this one over that one. Now, you can almost directly compare this to the new DC 200 by Anchor, but the DC 200 doesn't have the lantern. And so those are direct apples to apples comparison. They're the same price. I would get this one over the DC 200 unless you just super duper need the faster charging, or you really want the app support, which I don't think is a necessity. Some things that I also use quite often that I didn't necessarily take with me every single day would be bigger flashlights. I talked about pocket flashlights and some flashlights sometimes I would carry on my body. These are flashlights that would never get carried on my body. These are specialty use flashlights. They got used in specific scenarios, and we'll just talk about a few of them here. So first one is the Phoenix. This is the TK30R. This is an LEP flashlight. So it's a white laser flashlight. What it's basically doing is that a white laser is hitting a piece of phosphorus, And what it's doing is it emits a light once it hits that phosphorus. And what happens is it makes the light go crazy far. Like this light can go nearly a mile. And that's so fantastic whenever I'm rucking, whenever I'm, if I want to see something far out in the distance, this light is fantastic for that. It still has a strobe mode because it's a white laser instead of an LED. It has insane battery life. It's using a 21700 battery. And the thing I like about this also is that if you are in search and rescue, or if you just want to have that type of feature with you, maybe you lose your dog all the time, maybe you lose something in the woods all the time, you live in a wooded property, having this type of light with this crazy type of spot beam, I think is incredibly important. So this Ace Beam P 220 has replaced my Streamlight ProTac HL5X as my oh shit handle flashlight in my truck. This is a big beastly flashlight. I forgot the max lumen output on this, but what I like about it is that it has a very nice spot flood beam mixture. And now when, say for instance, I get into a bumper to bumper accident, I can get out, inspect the bumper of my vehicle, inspect the bumper of the other person's vehicle, and I have just a bigger, more reliable flashlight to use. It's intimidating as well. So if I'm getting out and I'm helping somebody out with their engine, I walk up with this flashlight. You can almost assume that if I have a flashlight like this on me and I'm helping you out with your vehicle, I probably also have a gun on me as well. So it just kind of makes it an assumption. And it's a CNC machine, and it's built like a tank. So you could actually use this as a weapon if you needed to. You can use this to blind somebody. It's incredibly powerful. You can also use that white laser light to blind somebody temporarily if you had to get down with somebody. Next on the list is the Olight O-Clip Pro. This is a significant upgrade to the Olight O-Clip. This now has a red light. It has a spot beam. It has a flood beam, and the thing I like about it is that it switches between those modes with a flick of a switch, okay? And I did just review the Woobin X2 Pro. I like that flashlight. It has a switch similar to this, but it doesn't automatically switch like this one does. The entire thing is magnetic, so if you want to stick this whole thing to a surface, and then you can use it that way if you need to, use it to illuminate something that you're working on. It's made of aluminum. Uses USB Type-C charging. Very, very well made. Only thing I'm nervous about is it does have a built-in battery. I don't know how how long the battery life will last on this over the years. I do wish these smaller flashlights would slowly but surely begin to upgrade and figure out a way to use 18350 batteries, and maybe so we can use or replace the batteries ourselves. But what I primarily use these on are my bags. So I would tend to take these flashlights and wear them on the shoulder straps on my bags, and then that way I can use this to illuminate as I'm walking forward in any specific direction. I guess that brings me to my most used bag category before we talk about the remaining items on the table, which is this is the Brown Buffalo Conceal Pack 21. Now you may say, X, you literally reviewed this bag in 2022. This is 100% true. And then I sold it in 2023. And I missed it incredibly much. And then Brown Buffalo did a multicam black version, an exclusive collab with Huckberry. And when they did that version, exclusive version, I purchased it all over again, used a military discount, and I love this bag, okay? It does have a full loop back in the very back of it, so you have to be very deliberate about how you pack this thing out. You can't just necessarily throw stuff in here. You have to really think about, what am I putting in there? How am I going to use it and all that type of stuff. I do have some pack outs in here with a mixture of Eberly stock and Vertex back here. I use Premier Body Armor's laptop holder. It has some, just very, very subtle organization here with 2 large stash pockets. I normally just keep a pair over the ear headphones in here, and it has a zipper pocket up here. It's not super flashy, but what I like about it is that when it's completely empty and when it's completely full, it stands up on its own as long as you pack it up correctly. There's very rarely a time when I pack this up. Like right now, the laptop is empty, so it's not even doing it. But all these are handmade in California. They're not exactly the same because they're being made by hand. There's a lot of modularity that you can buy directly from Brown Buffalo's website. But I like this. I like the fact that when I go somewhere, I set it down, especially at an airport, at a park, at a coffee shop, on the go. When I'm absentmindedly talking to somebody, I can set it down and it doesn't just go flopping all over my ankle, flopping all over their foot on the floor. So I'm a big fan of that as well. Now, if you said X, you have to have a one and done bag. What was the bag that you tested out this year that will be your one and done bag? At least for the foreseeable future. I can't say forever because there's things that have not come out yet. Like this bag didn't exist earlier this year. And when it came out, it made me realize that this could be a one and done bag. This is the GoRuck GR2 Dyneema. This is the 26 liter bag. Only real difference between the GR2 26 liter and the GR1 26 liter is the GR1 26 liter goes higher. The GR2 26 liter goes fatter to get 26 liters. This is a great bag. Dyneema is 15 times stronger than steel. It is very good if you're walking between branches, twigs, and leaves, scraping against rocks. Doesn't have the most puncture resistance. So if someone's trying to stab it with a knife, right, that's where its downfall. But that's just like a lot of other fabrics. But this thing is great. It is a very expensive bag. GoRuck sent this out to me for a review, and I didn't appreciate how well built this was until I put tons of miles on it this year as my main rucking bag. All right, so let's talk about some stuff that would be carried with me and sometimes inside of one of those bags or a sling bag. But before we jump into those, let's talk about some of my favorite slings and fannies for this year. We're first going to talk about my favorite sling. This was a difficult one. I wanted to choose a sling that came out in 2024, not just my favorite sling ever. And we're gonna go with the Eberly stock. This is their Fade sling. This has a lot to it. It's ambidextrous. It's a CCW ready bag. I featured it in a video. Ever since then, this thing has slowly but surely continued to make its way into my daily use. I like how the CCW compartment is accessible in an ambidextrous way. It was a hard choice between this and the Ghost sling bag by Vertex, but the Ghost sling, the CCW is available from the bottom. And in order to access it, you have to wear it over a shoulder. That made me feel very uncomfortable. As much as I love Vertex products, this one has a very different approach to the CCW. And there's a lot of times where I can't wear my weapon on my body because I'm worried about printing. I'm around other parents or whatever. And so I will go carry inside of a bag. For instance, if I'm filming an event and you're allowed to have a weapon at this event, whether it is a Pee Wee football game or cheerleading or whatever, if I'm filming the event because I'm being paid there and I'm always lifting my arms to adjust my camera or to adjust this or adjust that, adjust a microphone, there's a lot of times that I could brandish a weapon, mistakenly not do it on purpose, or it'd be a lot of printing. So I prefer to CCW in a bag. This is the bag that I would oftentimes pick up and go with. And this is just such a good price. This thing normally, I think it MSRP's at $99. So when it goes on sale, it's even a better bang for the buck. This has a lot of features in it that I think that other sling companies need to look at for their future use cases. It kind of brings me to my Fanny pack that came out this year that I thought was pretty dope. It's going to go with their competitor. This is the Vertex Sock P. They came out in the multi-cam black. So they made a few subtle changes from the original Fanny pack that they had. So Vertex has came out with like 2 or 3 different Fanny packs. This one, they made the larger ready access pull tab available for this bag, which is dope. But one thing that I love about this by far the most is up here, you do have the ability to store like a cell phone or something like that. And when you store that phone up here, you can now rip this pouch downward and look at your phone while it's still on your body. That looks a little Inspector Gadget-like whenever you're actually doing it in public because you look like you're looking at your own groin. But if you're on a ruck or if you're on a one wheel, if you're on an e-bike or something like that, this is very convenient when you stop at a stop sign or a stoplight or a crosswalk to just stare down quickly at your phone, especially if it's raining or if your hands are sweaty. Look at your phone, wake it up with the Face ID, And especially if you're using it for the map purposes, this is why this bag is goated. It does have the CCW components of it in the very back of it as well, but this is my favorite part. If I'm doing a light ruck with no bag on my back, if I'm using this instead, this is why I like the sock piece so much. It was hard though, because I also have the Bandit or Bandito bags by Eberly Stock. I have both sizes of those. Those are dope, but that feature alone makes the sock P worth it for me. We're gonna talk about my favorite fixed blade. There's a lot of fixed blades that I had this year. I got a new one recently by Woox or WOX, that company, that knife company. I got some stuff from Gerber. I have stuff from Benchmade. I have a lot of no-name brands. I got stuff from Kaiser, but we're still going to go with the Montana Knife Company. We're gonna go with the actual Battle Goat. The Battle Goat is a very, very good fixed blade knife. It's using a Magnum cut blade steel, a little bit more use case for like if you need to use it in a fighting scenario. You can leave it in a sheath and use it for bashing or whatever. But it's just super slicey. It still looks good even after you use it. I don't know how they did the coating or whatever. Normally when I've had Benchmade knives that have this type of coating on it, or knives from Kaiser that have this type of coating. And even after I start to use it, it starts to look pretty bad. This one looks good. The Kydex sheath is fantastic. You can get it with the Alti clip, or you can choose another clip when you check out with this. It's just a fantastic knife. This is one of my most comfortable EDC knives to put on my hip underneath my shirt, and I can actually EDC a fixed blade or wear it as an ankle knife if I want to EDC that way as well. Hard to get your hands on. These are oftentimes not in stock, but if you can get your hands on this and you had to choose between the Blackfoot, the Speed Goat, the War Goat, the Battle Goat, I would go with the Battle Goat. Kind of a leftover from the flashlight category from earlier. We got to talk about the Woobin. This is I think it's the E7, or no, wait, let me make sure I get this one right. This is the E1. So this is an actual selfie flashlight that uses the MagSafe capabilities of your cell phone. Mine's about to die. It's getting that blinking red light there. But it uses the MagSafe capabilities of your iPhone, or if you have a case that has MagSafe on it. And then you can slap this on the back of your phone, and you can do stuff like use this now to take a selfie or to take a picture of your kids, which is what I primarily used it for. So if I'm about to take a picture of my kiddos, then I could even hold it like this, use it to take a picture of my kiddos. But if I was taking a selfie, then I can just put it on like this, and it's ready to use for selfie action or whatever. So I like the Woobin E1. It's a very capable selfie light, and it came out in 2 colors initially, black and white. It did so well that they're not making it in all sorts of colors. My wife uses this all the time. She didn't know she wanted a selfie light until I gave her one. Now she goes out with her girlfriend. She's always using this light. Don't bring it with me every day, but if I know I'm going to be around my kids, I don't want to bring a real camera with me, but I want good lighting. If we're going inside of an indoor park and you go inside those tunnels in indoor parks, it's dark underneath there, I'll pull out a light, take a picture of my kids, no issues whatsoever. Here we're gonna talk about, this is the I think it's the ATP rope, or AT wood, I forget the name of the company, but made in America paracord keeper. I like the fact that they made a smaller version of this. I've had 2 other versions of this before. I'm glad they made it smaller. This is 550 cord. You can get it in other cord strength as well on their website. But this does 4 things in one. It keeps it stores the 550 cord. It keeps the 550 cord right here for quick access. It cuts the 550 cord. And then in the very bottom of it, you can put your own big lighter and you can burn the 550 cord. So it's a 4-in-1 solution. They made it smaller. It also has a carabiner built in, so you can use this to hook this to a backpack or whatever. Just a very well-made item. It always has some rope on you. Never know when one of your sons is going to break his belt and his pants are falling. One of your daughters is going to break the strap on her backpack and she has the remainder of the day going for wherever they're going. Paracord is more useful than just survival situations, so it's nice to have that in a bag or in my vehicle. Now, I wanted to talk about my key setup for this year because I actually don't carry my keys on me every day, so I didn't consider it to be a part of my EDC for tier 1 because a lot of times I hate carrying all my keys on my body. If I can get away with it, I will leave these keys home for 1 week straight and just take my key fob to my truck, and that's it. Okay. And because this is how I like to keep a slim down profile in my pockets, that's why this is not a part of my tier 1, but it might be a part of your tier 1. This is the Orbit Key Pro. Now, I've had the Jibbin, I've had the original Orbit Key, I've had stuff from Keybar, but I really like the Orbit Key Pro. I like the fact that they finally made some revisions and made it so that you can take this thing apart without needing a tool. Also, they made this quick feature here where you can flip the main key that you may want up with one hand, and then that key is accessible. That's the lock to my tonneau cover. That's accessible with this little flipper right here. So I like the subtle adjustments, improvements that they made. They made it bigger. They made it more substantial. So something else I want to talk about was a different colorway when a Victorinox nail clipper. So I've had the multicam version. I've had the red color. I wanted to point this out because I think this is probably one of my most used EDC items. It doesn't get carried on me every day. It's only in a pouch. But this is the nail clippers by Victorinox. It's actually a 7 or 8-in-1 multi-tool, but the main thing I use are the scissors for cutting aluminum or tissue paper or zip ties or whatever. And the nail clippers. My nails grow crazy fast. If I'm sitting in a parking lot waiting for my wife, if I am at cheerleading waiting for my daughter, if I'm doing whatever, I will pull these out, use these to clip my nails. So love those. I love the fact that they came out with a wood version. My most used earbuds of the year. Now, the case is starting to get a little bit worn in, but these are by Alba. No, these are the Meze. These are the Meze Albas. These are by Meze Audio. And a few things I will say about these is that the case, the color to make, the choice to make the color white was bold because it's leather and it picks up dirt. But these in-ear monitors are fantastic. They sound really good. Finally, some high quality audiophile style headphones for less than $200. I thought these were fantastic. I think Meze hit these out the park. I like the fact that you can get the USB-C adapter and use these with your cell phone. It kind of makes the sound more immersive when I listen to talk radio or if I listen to music or whatever. I mostly watch YouTube, but I love these a lot. You know, actual headphones or earbuds with the actual cord is making a comeback, and it's nice to have a pair. It's like a big signal to someone at a grocery store or someone around you that I'm listening to something. Don't talk to me. On my plate carrier, whenever I go rucking, I do have the Nicor. This is the EMR06, the TAC. This is a mosquito repellent. This creates like a 10 to 16, it's like a diameter radius around you, mosquito repellent. It gets pretty warm, and it uses these little blue strips, which are not proprietary to Nicor. Thank you, Nicor, for not making a proprietary strip. But you can buy these on Amazon. You stick these strips in, they can be used twice. And when you sit in one spot for a while when you're rucking or if you're in the woods, these things work really, really well and reduce your chances of getting bit by mosquitoes. My favorite multi-tool that came out this year, I got some from Roxxon, I got some from quite a few companies, but we're just gonna keep it real. My favorite multi-tool that came out this year was the Leatherman Arc Obsidian. Did a lot of content on this multi-tool. It's a great multi-tool. I think that they hit this out the park by coming up with a different colorway for the Leatherman Arc, coming with the Obsidian. They still have the Magna Cut blade still on this. It still has the one-hand opening feature. I used it quite a bit, and then I guess people were kind of like, X, why are you using that? Why are you using that thing so much? It's kind of like a collector's item. And so, but like I say, I like this knife. I like this multi-tool. I think that if you get it, you won't regret it. It does take a while to get used to the flicking action, but you can actually flick this open like a knife, like a regular pocket knife. There you go. So you can use this as your one and done. It has a decent sheath. It comes with a half a bit kit. I think it's pretty pricey at $275. But if you want it, if you're a collector, then just kind of go for it. I don't think you need to be ashamed for just grabbing something that you want. And this is 100% made in America. Finally, my favorite item of 2024 is the Nutsack Commander. I really appreciate this pouch. It's made of wax canvas, but I like the fact that it has a book style opening. It has plenty of room. Not all of the elastic banding inside are all the same size. So you have that versatility inside of how you want to store stuff. And this is the thing that I grabbed if we're going to a party, we went to a Christmas party the other day, wasn't quite sure what was going to be going on. And I was wearing like this pajama type of outfit or whatever. I couldn't put a knife on me because I didn't have pockets. I just grabbed this, stuck this under my armpit, took it to the party, set it on the kitchen counter at the party. It didn't look odd. It didn't look out of place. And I still had my EDC with me. We're going to dinner and I can stick this with me. It does not look odd. I know it's wax canvas, but wax canvas has made a crazy comeback to where it almost works in a business environment, date night, or if you just have your normal EDC. I think that they got the price right on this. They got the makeup right. It easily fits multi-tools, battery banks, anything that you can think of on the inside of this pouch. And if I had to go down to one pouch, in one pouch only, as it stands right now, and I love my stuff that has from Roaring Fire, other stuff from Nutsack and all sorts of places, this would be the pouch. But this is my tier 2 carry for 2024. Some of my favorite. What was your favorite gear of 2024? I've already done a video of like my tier 1. I'll link that up for you to check out as well. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.